Okay, so you guys are down into that thumb area. Alright, so we're going to start, and what you want to kind of do is get yourself in the position of the mink, so if you put the mink in anatomical position, he'd be standing like that, right? And so this is which muscles are these on this side then?
Extensors.
Those are the extensors. Okay, so if we know we're on the extensors, then we're just starting to look for little separations so we can start getting in there and finding the edges. And so sometimes it looks like you probably just need to get a little bit further down to get to those edges, but the brachioradialis, when you rub it, sometimes it'll show its face, and I see that little edge right there that I think is probably it. I'm going to try to look on the other side and see where that looks. Okay, so you can see how I've lifted up the brachioradialis right there, and you guys, I went to the inside just to get an edge. But remember I said it wraps around, so it's the number 1 on both muscles, or on both the what do I call that, anterior and posterior sides. Did I say that right? Nope, anterior and posterior. So we just want to get through, and then I'm going to clean up those edges, and I'm going to probably work a little faster, but I don't want to ruin this either at the same time. I'm looking to make sure I'm not cutting and I'm staying along the edge. So I'm going to let you guys clean that up. The brachioradialis is a little guy. And then remember also, if you remember, the radius is on the thumb side and ulna's on the other. It helps you remember a few muscles. The next 2 muscles are the extensor digitorum, extensor carpi radialis, longus and brevis, right? And then brevis, extensor carpi radialis longus, and then brevis. So I'm just looking for some separations. There's obviously a separation right there. And with these arm muscles, sometimes it's really easy to accidentally make more separations than you need, because it looks like there's separations when there really isn't. And so once you know you're in an area, then get a probe in there. You guys have done a lot of work, so it's made my job easy because this fascia is almost gone on it. Have you guys been stripping that for a few days, or is this just the way it is?
We did it yesterday.
Okay, good. Made my life easy. Okay, so so we've got the brachioradialis, extensor carpi radialis longus, and I can already see the number. You can already see that number 8 that I usually come back to, but you can see it starting to separate there. This is one usually you just want to get a probe in there. Wow. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, those aren't very good, are they? I just want to try to work that edge open a little bit. To try to get to that pollicus guy. Is he the extensor pollicus longus? Is that what he is? I just lost his name. Abductor pollicus. What's abduction again?
To add.
What's that mean? So if your thumb was abducted, what would it do? Bring it back in. Okay, good. Okay, so there's your abductor pollicus longus. And you'll clean up those edges and just separate it better. So the next muscle over, and can you guys see, when you rub, you can see those edges, right? I'm going to do a quick count muscle because I see 1, 2, 3, and then there's the 4th one. So I want to make sure I'm not going to make too many, so I'm going to count. I've got this one and this one. I need 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Correct? And I found how many? I've got, if I go all the way across from the, if we just look across, I've got 7 muscles I need to find, not counting that one, which is kind of out of order, right? That one that we found down there. So I need 7 muscles. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so the trick on this one is the 7th muscle. This is the 7th muscle. The 6th muscle is underneath this. So I have everything I need. I just need to now separate them. That makes sense again? If you do the count like I did, you got to remember there's 1 muscle underneath here, and that's the hardest one to find. So I see those edges, so I just want to try working those edges. Do I have every group here right now?
Yep.
So nobody is not watching, so I get to go right after this? Can everybody see what I'm doing? because this side really is a pretty easy side. If you don't get in the right gap, the muscle will look torn just like always, and this one's going to be a tough one. He's not going to open up very easily. Okay, it's looking pretty ugly. Okay, so what muscle is that I've just butchered the edge of, but it's kind of in the right spot? There it goes.
Extensor carpi radialis brevis.
Good. Okay, so you got the longus, the big one, and the brevis is a little smaller. The next muscle over is what?
The extensor digitorum
superficialis. Okay, so you guys can see I'm just kind of barely getting underneath this fascia and trying to find an opening. That one just opened really nice. And then you'll want to clean that up later. So whoever's doing this, you want to extend all these openings that we've started, okay? So again, if you just keep going back, you guys, by far, I think these are the hardest muscles to memorize because they all sound the same, but you've got to memorize them in this order. So the more you practice, brachioradialis, extensor carpi radialis longus, extensor carpi radialis brevis, extensor digitorum superficialis, extensor digitorum lateralis, which is that next one that we're going to break into right now. You know, fourth period, do they even know I come in here?
No.
They used to complain.
That you don't?
Yeah, that how come you favor sixth period? I said, I don't favor sixth period, your teacher does.
I played the fifth.
Oh wait, you're gonna have to play that. You can't show that. You're gonna have to start that over. Can you turn the sound on it off?
I played the fifth. I didn't make any comment.
Well,
Doesn't favor us.
she what? I know, I'm just joking anyway.
I don't have favorites anyway.
Okay, those are terrible.
I mean, if I did
Some
second period,
tough
it'd be my
fascia
favorite.
right there.
Everybody knows that.
Okay. So what's that muscle I'm kind of separating right now?
Extensor digitorum lateralis.
That's the lateralis right there. Why does that make sense? Why does the word lateralis? Good, okay. It does make sense because it's moving over toward the ulna side, which is the lateralis, and then both of these